Imagine for a moment living in a world where the weight of every challenge, every setback, and every worry does not control your mind, your actions, or your happiness. What if, instead of being swept away by the currents of external pressures, you could stand firm, unaffected by what comes your way? There's a strength in learning to act as if nothing bothers you. A strength not in denying the difficulties of life, but in choosing to rise above them with dignity and purpose. It's about mastering the art of not allowing the small things to rob us of our peace and clarity. When we choose to act with resolve, despite the chaos around us, we open the door to resilience, to self-mastery, and to the kind of strength that makes life's burdens seem less heavy. Today, let's explore this powerful mindset and how it can transform our approach to every situation, big or small. 1. Embracing resilience, the power of acting unbothered. 2. Mastering peace, how to rise above life's challenges. 3. The art of inner strength, acting as if nothing can shake you. 4. Finding freedom in calm, letting go of external distractions. 5. Unshakable confidence, learning to live beyond life's troubles. Life, in its endless unpredictability, often throws at us the most unexpected of challenges. These challenges come in many forms, whether they are personal struggles, professional setbacks, or emotional trials. The question, then, is not whether life will test us, but how we respond when it does. The act of embracing resilience and learning to act as if nothing bothers you isn't about denying the existence of hardship or pretending that everything is always fine. Rather, it is about developing the capacity to face difficulties without letting them overwhelm us, and finding strength in the very act of continuing to move forward regardless of what life may throw our way. When we embrace resilience, we are not simply choosing to ignore the weight of our burdens. Instead, we are choosing to respond with grace, poise, and a sense of control that no external circumstance can disrupt. Life, after all, is not something we can fully control, yet we always have control over how we choose to react. Resilience is the art of directing our energy in a way that allows us to rise above adversity instead of being consumed by it. This power lies in acting as though nothing bothers you, putting aside the distractions and struggles of the moment and focusing instead on maintaining inner peace and direction. This approach does not come easily. It requires mental strength, discipline, and a deep understanding that we are not victims of our circumstances, but creators of our responses. When we learn to act as if nothing bothers us, we allow ourselves to be guided by our own convictions rather than by the fleeting emotions that arise in reaction to the events around us. It is a profound shift in perspective, an acknowledgement that while we cannot always control what happens to us, we can control how we meet the challenges that life presents. By adopting this mindset, we free ourselves from the chains of constant worry and frustration. It becomes less about the problems we face and more about how we approach them. When we choose to act unbothered, we begin to see difficulties not as obstacles, but as opportunities for growth. In the face of adversity, we discover what we are truly capable of, and this realization fosters even more resilience. Every time we act as if we are unshaken, we strengthen our capacity to remain steady in future storms. There is great power in the ability to remain unruffled, not because the storm has no effect on us, but because we refuse to be ruled by it. When we adopt the mindset that nothing can truly bother us, we take control of our emotional responses. We become less susceptible to the whims of external forces and more connected to the steady, unshakable part of ourselves that lies deep within. This inner strength, once cultivated, becomes a shield against the pressures of the world, allowing us to act with courage, conviction, and clarity in every situation. Of course, there will be times when it is more difficult than others to maintain this composure. There will be days when everything feels too much, when the weight of the world seems unbearable. But even on those days, it is important to remember that resilience does not mean never feeling overwhelmed. It means continuing to push forward even when we do. It means accepting that we may not always feel strong, but choosing to act as if we are. Over time, this practice of embracing resilience will become second nature, and we will find ourselves navigating life's storms with an unwavering steadiness. In the end, embracing resilience and learning to act as if nothing bothers you is not about avoiding pain or hardship. It is about rising above it, knowing that while we cannot control everything that happens, we always have control over how we respond. It is the recognition that our power lies not in external circumstances, but in the quiet strength we cultivate within ourselves. And it is in this strength that we find the true freedom to live a life unburdened by the things that once seemed insurmountable. In the rush of life, with its constant demands, noise, and distractions, it is all too easy to feel as though we are being swept away by forces beyond our control. The pressures of work, relationships, and personal expectations can sometimes leave us feeling overwhelmed, as though peace is a distant dream rather than a present reality. Yet, amidst the chaos, there exists a profound truth. Peace is not something that happens to us, but something we can actively choose to cultivate, even in the midst of life's most trying challenges. Mastering peace, then, is not about escaping life's difficulties or pretending they do not exist. It is about learning to rise above them, to meet every challenge with a sense of calm and clarity. Peace, at its core, is the ability to remain steady, to preserve our inner equilibrium, no matter what storms may rage around us. It is not a passive state of being, but a dynamic choice, a conscious decision to remain unshaken and resolute, even when the world demands more than we feel we can give. In practice, this means choosing to respond with calmness in the face of adversity, to look beyond the immediate turmoil and see the larger picture. It means cultivating a mindset that refuses to be disturbed by the transient emotions and circumstances that often accompany difficult times. By learning to rise above life's challenges, we shift our perspective from one of victimhood to one of empowerment. We realize that while we cannot always control the events that happen to us, we always have the ability to control how we react to them. This inner peace begins with the recognition that much of the stress we experience comes not from the world itself, but from how we engage with it. We often find ourselves caught up in the demands and expectations placed upon us, or in the fear of what might happen next. But when we master peace, we step back from these external pressures and remind ourselves that our peace does not depend on anyone or anything outside of ourselves. It is something we nurture within, something that remains untouched by the fleeting moments of chaos that surround us. Rising above life's challenges requires courage. It demands that we face our fears, our doubts, and our insecurities with grace and resilience. But it also requires trust. A trust that, no matter what happens, we have the strength within us to navigate the storm. In this way, mastering peace becomes an act of faith. Faith in our own ability to remain grounded, no matter how turbulent the world around us may become. This does not mean that we will never feel stress, sadness, or frustration. To be human is to experience the full range of emotions. But it does mean that we do not let these emotions govern us. Instead, we acknowledge them, process them, and then choose to rise above them. We do not let our circumstances dictate our state of mind. We are not slaves to the chaos. Rather, we are masters of our inner peace. There is a quiet strength in this way of living. A strength that grows over time as we learn to trust ourselves and our ability to handle whatever comes our way. Each challenge we face is an opportunity to practice this mastery, to reaffirm our commitment to peace. As we build this resilience, we discover that the more we cultivate peace within ourselves, the less we are swayed by the turbulence of the outside world. Ultimately, mastering peace is about living with a sense of purpose and intentionality, regardless of the circumstances we encounter. It is about finding stillness in the midst of motion, clarity in the midst of confusion, and strength in the midst of weakness. It is a journey not of avoidance, but of growth, a growth that allows us to rise above the challenges of life, with peace as our steady anchor, guiding us through even the most difficult of times. There is something deeply powerful about the quiet strength that arises from within, the kind of strength that cannot be easily shaken, no matter what trials life may present. It is an art, a skill, and a choice, a way of being that does not rely on external circumstances, but on an internal fortitude that remains resolute through all things. Acting as if nothing can shake you does not mean being impervious to the storms of life, but rather, it means learning to stand firm amidst those very storms. It is the mastery of inner strength that allows us to move through the world with grace and confidence, even when the winds of challenge and adversity threaten to knock us down. The beauty of this inner strength lies in its quiet resilience. It is not a loud, forceful power that demands attention. Rather, it is a calm, unwavering presence that holds steady even when everything around us seems to be in flux. This strength does not come from pretending that nothing bothers us, nor does it involve suppressing our emotions or dismissing the reality of our difficulties. Instead, it is the conscious decision to rise above them, to act as if nothing can disturb our peace, because we know that we are grounded in something far deeper than the temporary troubles that arise in our lives. In the face of adversity, the art of inner strength allows us to remain anchored to our purpose, to our values, and to the deeper truths that guide us. It teaches us that while we may not have control over the events that unfold around us, we always have control over how we respond to them. When we choose to act as if nothing can shake us, we choose to reclaim our power. We choose to be the masters of our emotions, not the victims of them. We refuse to let external circumstances dictate our peace or our sense of self-worth. This inner strength requires practice, patience, and an unshakable belief in ourselves. It is not something that can be cultivated overnight, but something that grows over time as we face challenges and learn from them. Every trial we encounter is an opportunity to strengthen our resolve, to deepen our understanding of our own resilience. The more we practice acting as if nothing can shake us, the more natural it becomes. Slowly, we begin to internalize this strength, and it becomes a part of who we are, not something we need to remind ourselves to summon. But perhaps the most important aspect of this inner strength is its ability to empower us to face life with courage. When we act as if nothing can shake us, we are not pretending to be invincible, nor are we denying our vulnerabilities. Rather, we are acknowledging that while we may be vulnerable, we are also capable of navigating the challenges that come our way with dignity and grace. It is not the absence of fear or uncertainty that defines true strength, but the ability to move forward in the face of those fears, to continue acting in alignment with our values, regardless of the obstacles in our path. This art of acting unshaken is not about detaching from reality or becoming emotionless in the face of hardship. It is about choosing to face reality with an unbreakable resolve. It is the ability to say, "This may be difficult, but I will not allow it to control me." And in that decision, we find the power to move through life with a sense of calm determination, knowing that we have the strength to handle whatever comes our way. Ultimately, the art of inner strength lies in the recognition that true power does not come from external validation, nor from a life free of hardship. It comes from within, from our ability to face the world with unwavering confidence, regardless of the challenges we may encounter. When we learn to act as if nothing can shake us, we discover that the storms of life, instead of breaking us, can become the very things that refine and strengthen us. And in that realization, we find a strength that is unshakable, rooted in the knowledge that we are more than capable of handling whatever life has in store. In the frenetic pace of the modern world, it can often feel as though we are constantly being pulled in 1,000 directions. The demands of work, relationships, social expectations, and personal desires all seem to create an ever-growing list of distractions that cloud our minds and drain our energy. It's as if we are perpetually caught in a whirlwind, where each moment is filled with noise, urgency, and pressure. Yet there exists a remarkable power in finding stillness, in stepping back from the relentless pull of external distractions and allowing ourselves to embrace the peace that resides within. It is within this calm that true freedom is found, for only when we let go of the outside world's demands can we discover the clarity and purpose that lie at the core of who we are. Finding freedom in calm is not about escaping the world or retreating from life's responsibilities. It is, instead, about learning to disengage from the endless chatter and distractions that often dominate our minds and our time. It is about creating a space within ourselves where we can reconnect with our true essence, where we are no longer slaves to the ever-present noise of the world, but rather masters of our own inner peace. The first step in this journey is recognizing the ways in which external distractions pull us away from the present moment. These distractions, while often subtle, can have a profound impact on our well-being. Whether it is the constant buzz of social media, the never-ending cycle of work obligations, or the pressure to meet others' expectations, these forces divert our attention and leave us feeling fragmented, as though we are living lives that are not entirely our own. It is all too easy to become consumed by these distractions, to believe that they are the measure of our worth or the source of our happiness. However, true freedom comes not from accumulating more of what the world has to offer, but from learning to let go of the things that do not serve us. When we detach ourselves from the external forces that seek to define us, we open up space for something far more fulfilling. A deep, abiding peace that is not contingent on circumstances, but rooted in the quiet strength of our own being. In this calm, we discover the freedom to be ourselves, to make choices that align with our values and our true desires, rather than being swept along by the currents of external expectation. To find this freedom, we must cultivate the ability to be present. We must learn to quiet the noise, to turn off the distractions, and to focus on what truly matters. This is not to say that we should abandon our responsibilities or neglect our commitments. Rather, it is about finding balance, about recognizing that our inner peace must come first, for only when we are at peace with ourselves can we fully engage with the world around us. By letting go of the distractions that clutter our minds, we create space for clarity, creativity, and genuine connection. The freedom that comes from calm is not passive, it is active and empowering. It is the freedom to choose how we spend our time, how we direct our attention, and how we engage with the world. In this stillness, we find the strength to resist the pressures of conformity, to choose our path and to follow it with intention. We no longer feel beholden to the noise of the world. Instead, we are guided by our own inner compass, rooted in a sense of purpose and authenticity. As we let go of external distractions, we also find that we are better able to navigate the challenges that life presents. Without the constant pull of outside influences, we can approach each situation with a clear mind, an open heart, and a steady hand. We are no longer at the mercy of the world's chaos, but instead, we move through it with a sense of calm assurance, knowing that the freedom we seek is not something outside of us, but something we carry within. Ultimately, finding freedom in calm is a journey toward reclaiming our own power. It is about learning to live with intention, to choose peace over distraction, and to find strength in stillness. In letting go of the things that do not serve us, we make room for the life we were meant to live. A life that is not defined by external demands, but by the quiet, unshakable peace that arises from within. And in that peace, we find the truest form of freedom. There are few qualities more powerful than unshakable confidence, the kind that allows a person to stand firm no matter the storms that rage around them. This type of confidence is not born out of arrogance or an inflated sense of self, but from a deep and quiet trust in one's ability to face whatever life may throw their way. It is the confidence that remains steady, even in the most uncertain of times, a confidence that does not waver when confronted with failure, disappointment, or hardship. True, unshakable confidence is the ability to live beyond life's troubles, not because one is immune to them, but because one has learnt to rise above them with grace and conviction. At its core, unshakable confidence is a belief in our own resilience. It is an understanding that while life may not always unfold as we expect, we have within us the strength to meet each challenge with courage and perseverance. It is not a denial of difficulties, but a recognition that they are not the defining factor of our existence. Life's troubles, no matter how difficult, are temporary, and while they may test our patience, our resolve, or our emotions, they do not have the power to define who we are or determine the course of our lives unless we allow them to. This kind of confidence is not something that can be acquired overnight, nor is it a trait that is automatically present in everyone. It is a skill that must be developed over time, cultivated through experience, reflection, and an unwavering commitment to personal growth. To live beyond life's troubles requires a shift in perspective, a conscious decision to see challenges not as insurmountable obstacles, but as opportunities for growth and learning. Each difficulty we encounter is a chance to strengthen our resolve, to sharpen our ability to adapt, and to reaffirm our belief in our own inner strength. The foundation of unshakable confidence is rooted in self-acceptance. It is the ability to accept ourselves as we are, with all of our imperfections, flaws, and vulnerabilities. When we learn to accept ourselves, we stop seeking validation from the outside world, and instead we find validation in our own sense of worth. This acceptance allows us to face the world with authenticity, to act with integrity, and to trust in our own judgment. We stop living in fear of failure or judgment, for we know that even in our mistakes, we are learning, growing, and moving forward. Living beyond life's troubles also requires the ability to let go of what we cannot control. Much of the anxiety and fear that hold us back come from our attempts to control every aspect of our lives. Yet, we cannot control the future, and we cannot always prevent misfortune from striking. But we can control how we respond to these challenges. We can choose to rise above them, to face them with courage and dignity, and to keep moving forward, no matter how difficult the path may seem. This is the essence of unshakable confidence, not the belief that everything will always go our way, but the certainty that we are capable of handling whatever comes our way. As we learn to live beyond life's troubles, we also begin to understand that confidence is not about being perfect or having all the answers. It is about trusting ourselves in the face of uncertainty. It is about embracing the unknown and knowing that, even in times of doubt, we have the ability to find our way. True confidence allows us to step into the unknown with a steady heart, a clear mind, and a belief that we are capable of navigating whatever challenges arise. In the end, unshakable confidence is not the absence of difficulties, but the presence of a mindset that refuses to be shaken by them. It is a quiet strength that remains steadfast, no matter the circumstances. It is the belief that, no matter what happens, we will always find a way to rise above. And it is in this confidence, in this belief in our own resilience and inner strength, that we find the courage to face life's troubles, not as burdens, but as opportunities for growth, learning, and transformation. In the end, unshakable confidence is not about avoiding life's challenges, but about meeting them with the quiet strength of knowing we can rise above. It's about trusting ourselves, even when the path is unclear, and embracing each moment with grace and resilience. The difficulties we face are not the measure of who we are. Rather, our ability to face them with courage and determination defines us. So, let us carry forward with unwavering confidence, knowing that no matter what life throws our way, we have within us the strength to move through it and emerge stronger.